To understand history, you have to understand the currency of ancient power. 2,000 years ago, influence was measured in blood, steel, and subjugation. The Roman Empire held an iron grip across much of the known globe. They dictated the laws, controlled the trade routes, and possessed absolute authority over who lived and who died. If a ruler wanted to secure their legacy, they forced history to remember them by carving their faces into marble and building towering monuments to their own authority. The standard rules of human history were simple. Enduring influence belonged entirely to those who hoarded wealth and wielded physical dominance. Yet, while Rome was building its eternal city, a minor administrative order, a census decreed by the emperor, forced a couple named Mary and Joseph to travel to an insignificant speck on the map called Bethlehem. There were no royal decrees for this birth. Jesus was born in a stable, and his first bed was a feeding trough for animals. For the next 30 years, the historical record is silent. He lived an ordinary, working-class existence as a carpenter in the quiet hills of Nazareth. This presents a historical contradiction. How did a man who commanded no political authority, who had no money and no military backing, become the most recognized name in human history? That obscurity ended at about 30 years old. His public mission began in the waters of the Jordan River with his baptism. Instead of marching on the Capitol or seeking political office, he traveled the dusty roads between rural villages, seeking out fishermen, tax collectors, and outcasts. He taught crowds to love their neighbors, to show mercy to the marginalized, and to forgive their enemies rather than seek vengeance. Reports of the impossible began to spread. Word traveled rapidly of the blind receiving sight, and the chronically sick finding themselves healed. The claims expanded to his command over nature itself. Followers described him calming violent storms on the Sea of Galilee with only a spoken word, and feeding thousands of people with just a few loaves of bread. Then came the claim that reached the ears of the authorities, standing outside a tomb and commanding a man named Lazarus, who had been dead for days, to walk out alive. Whether viewed as divine intervention or an unprecedented social movement, this grassroots influence reached a scale that the empire could no longer ignore. Unstructured influence terrifies established authority. The religious and political elites in Jerusalem looked at these hopeful crowds and saw a direct threat to their control. The establishment found its leverage from the inside. One of his own disciples, Judas Iscariot, agreed to hand him over for the price of 30 pieces of silver. The final week moved quickly. A meal with his closest friends turned into a midnight arrest. He was put through interrogations, mocked by guards, and beaten. The resulting sentence was crucifixion. This was Rome's ultimate tool for humiliation, designed to publicly destroy threats and demonstrate absolute dominance over anyone who defied the state. Yet, while he was being executed, he used his final moments to pray for the forgiveness of the very soldiers who had carried out the sentence. Historically, this is where a movement is supposed to end. When a state executes a leader, the followers typically scatter and disappear. But 3 days later, a new claim emerged. The tomb where he had been buried was found empty. Beyond the missing body, his followers insisted they had seen him alive, that he was speaking, walking, and eating with them once again. Followers who had spent days hiding behind locked doors suddenly began preaching in the public squares of Jerusalem. This conviction that the Carpenter had conquered death itself turned a local group into a message that crossed every border of the Roman world. Today, the Roman Empire is a collection of ruins and dust. Yet the teachings of the Carpenter from Nazareth are lived out by billions. In the long arc of history, ideas like compassion and forgiveness remained alive and growing long after the legions had vanished. The echoes of his life are still shaping our world. The question now is, what does this story of influence mean for yours?